Hello, my name is Alberto,
And I'm Daniela.
and today we'll be presenting prison vocational programs. Okay, what exactly are prison vocational programs? These programs assist inmates with obtaining employable skills after their release. These skills can consist of basic communication skills, computer skills, and really skills that help maintain a job. The format of the classroom is usually one professor and roughly around 20 inmates. And of course, the inmates have to have a history of good behavior to participate in these type of programs. All right. Um, so why are these programs important, you may ask? They help inmates engage in meaningful activities instead of inmates just wasting their time and simply waiting on the release date. They can join a program that can assist find a good profession to ensure they never end up back in prison. The skills that we're taught will stick with them for a long time. The program also helps prepare inmates for life outside the cell. This is very important because it is difficult for inmates to readjust to the outside world, especially if they served a lengthy prison sentence. They may also want to convert back to their old tactics of getting fast money, such as robbery. With the assistance of the program, it will ease the hardships of finding a stable job. Inmates that join will see a jump in their overall mental health. They will feel that they are given a second chance and will be determined to work hard. This will lead to less violence within the prison walls.
So what motivates people to be part of vocational programs? So a study of about 2,000 prisoners from 4 different prisons in China were surveyed to see what things impacted their decision in participating in vocational programs. The results of the survey discovered that prison phone calls from friends and family, visits from friends and family, and prison sentence all motivated prisoners to participate in vocational programs. The results of this survey clearly show that having contact with loved ones from the outside world has a positive effect on a prisoner's choice to participate in vocational programs. This is likely caused because they feel that support and motivation to better themselves, not only for themselves, but for their loved ones. While this survey shows some positive reasons why people chose to be part of vocational programs, it also depicts why people choose not to be part of vocational programs. Lack of support from others is what leads to lack of motivation from an individual. Being alone in a prison with no contact with the outside world makes prisoners feel even more lonely and have no motivation to further themselves and cause them to disregard their future outside of prison. So what are the pros of vocational programs? Vocational programs lead prisoners to successful integrations back into society by equipping them with new skills, advice, and support. They lead prisoners to be less violent and less likely to return back to prison. An analysis of records from an Ohio prison showed that prisoners involved in prison vocational programs were less likely to be involved in prison violence and less likely to return to prison within 3 years of being released. Being part of a prison vocational program is also proven to positively impact the chances of being employed after being released. A study done involving US prisons found that there was a 34% increase in the likelihood of being employed if an individual was part of an educational program. The study did mention that the sample size used to acquire the statistics was small. However, one can only infer that with the larger sample size, the percentage rate could be much higher. Another benefit is that vocational programs are a productive and positive use of prisoners' times. Like Alberto mentioned, being in prison may lead others to join gangs and fall into bad habits, but being part of a prison vocational program allows them to use their time in prison productively. And also being part of a vocational program allows them to create bonds with others to better themselves and further their education together. Like I mentioned, lack of support impacts whether a person chooses to be part of a vocational program. So this could benefit them because they find that motivation and support that they might be lacking from friends and family.
Now we'll speak of the cons. Firstly, prisoners lack access to modern technology. All that inmates can really learn from is books and the word of mouth from their professor. There are so many resources online that can help, but there can be issues with this because web services can allow inmates to communicate with fellow gang members to smuggle drugs or weapons into prison. It can also put others at risk for assault in or outside of prison. Next, it requires a lot of money for these programs to get started. The yearly cost for educational programs in prison can range from $1,400 to $1,700 per person. This can leave taxpayers wondering if these programs should be only available to positive inmates that are surely going to be released. Furthermore, most states are unwilling to invest their convicts, to invest in their convicts in a way that they're eager to support those who behave in a proper manner. Because prison is frequently one-on-one, one and done circumstance for the program, such as this one, it can be difficult to offer offenders who need assistance the tools they need to begin recovering. Lastly, there are instructors that volunteer their time to help with local jail education programs. Some of these professors aren't compensated for their efforts while others are not, but their safety isn't ensured. For example, in 2015, in an Arizona prison, a teacher was attacked and raped by inmates during a test session.
Next, we have this video about the benefits of prison vocational programs by the RAND Corporation.
RAND was asked by the Department of Justice to analyze both the costs of effective correctional education programs as well as the payoffs.
This was 30 years of research that we were looking at.
We identified 58 unique studies on the relationship between correctional education and a range of different outcomes. If you look in the general population of inmates, recidivism rates tend to hover around 43%.
For individuals who participate in any type of correctional education program, their risk of being reincarcerated drops by 13 percentage points. For those who participate in college programs, they're half as likely to be reincarcerated upon release.
The RAND study translated the recidivism benefit into a cost-benefit analysis.
Every dollar invested in correctional education saves the taxpayer $5 in terms of recidivism costs.
This kind of magnitude of potential impact and this kind of ratio of a 1-to-4 or a 1-to-5, that was surprising.
And that payoff was related strictly to the recidivism reduction and the cost of confinement.
If we took into account the indirect costs, for example, to society, to the justice system, to victims, that cost savings would be substantially larger.
So this video by the RAND Corporation discusses the findings of over 30 years worth of data and information. They found that the risk of being incarcerated drops from 43 to about 30% if individuals take part in any vocational program. However, if they take part of college programs, the risk of reincarceration drops from 43 to about 21%, which is half. This video also brings up a great pro that provides a positive outlook on a con mentioned. While vocational programs do take a lot of money to get started, in the long run, taxpayers end up saving money. The RAND Corporation found that for every dollar taxpayers invest in educational programs, they save about $5 in reincarceration costs. In the long run, that investment in prison vocational programs pays off.
Overall, it does seem like these programs have be effective on recidivism rates. According to one study, individuals who engage in prison educational programs also have 43% reduction chance to return to prison than those who did not. And those convicted who receive a high school diploma while incarcerated are more likely to find work following their release. One study showed that each dollar invested in correctional training saves $4 to $5 in reincarceration expenses. This study is important because it is a win-win scenario for inmates and taxpayers. Inmates get education and training while taxpayers pay less to the prison system. Education plays a huge role in adult learning and basic skills and can act as a deterrent. These are our references. And that will conclude our presentation. If you have any questions, please reach out via email. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.